3, 2, 1. Bam, boy. Bam, boy. I just wanted to let everybody know, on a serious note, that my dear friend Matt has left this morning to go to California for school. I thought we'd be able to do one last show, one last podcast together today. But I texted him last night, and I got a text from him early this morning, before I even woke up, saying, he was on his way. So, yeah. So, Matt, when you listen to this, because I know you do, again, I wish you the best of luck in California, and I wish you the best of luck in all your endeavors. And I'm looking forward to having you back here. I don't know when you're going to come back. I don't know if it's winter break. Most likely will be, if you'll be back for WB, But, seriously, I really do appreciate you helping me get this thing started. And without Matt helping me get this thing going, I probably would still be lost, because he's got that producer smarts, I guess, with the computer. So, yeah, man, I really appreciate all your help and all you did for me to get me started, and I'm glad I can kind of take it off on my own now. But yeah, so I wish you the best of luck. So I want to talk about fucking what do I want to talk about? What do I want to talk about? Dude, this morning, probably around 10 o'clock, probably about 10 o'clock, I went to a flea market. I went to this flea market kind of like, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes from my house. I haven't been to in like a year or 2 years. And that's not true. It wasn't that long. But it's been a while since I've been there. But I was like, fuck it, because I want to get some stuff for the new recording space, some decorations or whatever, which I did buy something cool. And, sorry. I'm looking at it right now. And, I'm just looking for stuff once I bring this whole thing to camera eventually. So yeah, I went around, and I couldn't help but notice how many different types of people go to these things. Like, you got rednecks. Let's see what else you got. You got rednecks. You got little boys, you got little girls, children they call them, and you got men and women, redneck or whatever. You got straight men, you got gay men, you got a fat guy, probably under 400 pounds, selling illegal knives, or at least half of them are illegal. And then you had a guy selling shirts from the 1990s. So, dude, you get a whole bunch of different kinds of people in this thing, man. And especially the area. I'm not going to say what flea market. Sorry, I had like something in my teeth. Ew. I'm not going to say what flea market, but it is definitely in, I wouldn't even say like a dirty area, just a generally kind of country boy area. So you get those types of people, like Confederate flag license plates. Phil, you know what I'm talking about there. Totally not needed. And I was surprised today because I was walking around, and I probably stood out like a sore thumb because I have my Bush t-shirt on, like the band Bush, not George W. Bush. The band Bush. I have a t-shirt on. I have my hair parted like Leonardo DiCaprio. Wearing shorts and Nike stuff and all that, and everybody's wearing boots and jeans, and they got like frayed hats and shit. And I must have stood out like a sore thumb, but that's okay because I didn't go there to make friends. I just went there to look for cool shit. And I love going to this flea market, man, when I was a kid, because I like to look for music stuff and instruments, which it's hit or miss at this place. It's like you can go 30 times and not see anything music wise, like gear wise, and then you'll go and you'll be like, I ain't gonna find nothing. And then there's a drum kit there, where there's a There's a guitar there. I almost bought a trumpet today and a guitar. Yeah, dude, there was this guy selling these homemade guitars, man. They were pretty cool. They were like cigar box like guitars, and he was plugging them in and playing them. He kind of wanted a little too much for him. So, but it sounded cool, and I saw a bunch of other ones, but everything's kind of overpriced. But anyways, yeah, man, all the different kinds of people, and then I was pleased to see, like I just said, all the different kinds of people that go there. I'm gonna hold on, give me 1 second. I'm gonna turn this like sensitivity, I guess, down a little bit. Okay, there we go. It's not pushing it so bad. Sorry if that whole 5 minutes was kind of real loud. But like I was saying, there's a whole bunch of people there, white people, Chinese people, um, urban gentlemen or African American people. And I was just blown away how I can see these tents or like these stands. They were like there was one in particular that stood out because it was selling flags and it was under this big tent. It looked like a tent revival, it looked like Jim Jones's side piece there. But it was this big tent with all these flags, don't tread on me, and cops lives matter, all that stuff, So, and in the back, like hung up, plain in view, there was like 3 huge ass Dixie flags just hanging. One of them was just like the Dixie flag colors. One of them had like the Dixie flag that said country boy shit on it. Straight up, I don't even know, dude. Ignorance. And then another one maybe had like a snake on it or something, one of those cool little, they call them rattlesnakes. I don't know if you ever heard of rattlesnakes, but they had a rattlesnake on it. And, dude, there's like African American people walking by and nobody's saying anything. Like, the balls you have to like set up your own like flea market spot, that illegitimate store. Because it is an illegitimate store, look, man, flea markets these days are kind of sus, like there's like shit going on, like you buy, you buy a cigar box, there's probably, illegal guns in there from like the 40s. But anyways, what was I saying? Yeah, so people are just walking by, not even paying any attention to this, and I was like, wow, like the balls that person must have, or just the ignorance to hang that shit in the first place, but then knowing that there's going to be black people who walk by, or somebody that might not like the flag. Personally, I don't really enjoy that flag too much. I'm not saying you shouldn't be allowed to hang it. It is a free country after all, but what the hell, at least know who's going to be walking around. But yeah, this flea market, man. So I came across this urban gentleman, this black man. He was probably, I don't know, his early 60s. And it caught my eye right away. He had these like tarps laid out on the side of his like vehicle. It looked like a Honda, I don't know, it was like a square vehicle. But he had these tarps with like these African and like Ugandan. I don't even know Ugandan is a real word, but like from Uganda. So I don't know if Uganda is in Africa. I don't know. But all of these like African-ish countries, all these old ass fucking masks, dude, made out of like wood. And they were a little steep, but I did pick one up, and hopefully you guys will be able to see it one day. I'll have it hanging in the recording space. I paid $60 for it. And it's really cool, man. He was telling me like some of them were 100 years old, some of them are 50 years old, some of them were from the 1800s. And these things are legit, man. Like, I don't know what they were used for, ceremonies or just decoration or a hobby, but these things are really sick, and I would definitely go back again because it looks like something I can get into collecting. I love that shit. So hopefully you guys will be able to see that eventually, or maybe I'll put it in the thumbnail somewhere. I don't know. It's sweet looking though. It really is. I just looked at it again for like the 100th time this minute. But yeah, man, the flea market. I got a lot of weird looks, you know. Cause like I said, I probably stuck out like a sore thumb. I pull up in this like I just detailed my BMW like 2 days ago. Did the wax and all that. I haven't done it in a while. I like to take care of my car, so did the wax and did that shiny tire shit on it. The tire gel, they call it TG, and all that. Windows, everything. Did the inside, looks great. So I pull up, right? And immediately I just see douchebaggery. Chevy Silverado with the silhouette sticker of a stripper with devil horns. That kind of guy. Windows down, fucking fat arm hanging out the window, hairy arm. A couple of scars. It's always got scars on it. Anyways, yeah, just douchebaggery. Clapped out vehicles all the way. I saw an Audi and like another former BMW owner. And whenever I see another BMW owner, we always have this nod, like, "Oh, I got you," You know what you're buying. But you also like to take out a second mortgage on your house just to get the radiator replaced, So, yeah, I pull up immediately. Trucks. I mean, dude, this place got more trucks than goddamn Narnia, So, I pulled up. Immediately, car gets dirty. That's okay, because it was fun. Immediately, car is dusty. And so I pull up in the BMW, nice shiny BMW. I get out. I guess you can kind of, I don't know. I just got that feeling like I stood out. But I didn't care, I've always stood out, I guess, from what was surrounding me. But I didn't get beat up. I didn't get nothing. I saw this one guy. He had an eye patch. He had an eye patch and he had a big cane like he was walking with. He had a big scar that went down his middle of his knee. And he was eating a bag of kettle corn. And he was sitting on this ledge. This is a ledge. And he was sitting on it. And he looked at me and he nodded at me. And he held his bag of kettle corn out as if he was to offer me some. And I politely declined his request and I moved on. So then I knew, okay, I'm amongst good people. Some of them might be a little rough or frayed around the edges, but I'm amongst good people. See what else I saw, man. Oh yeah, I saw this really hot lady selling flowers, and I'm not into flowers, because I'm a guy. But I was thinking just for a minor second, I was thinking should I just go buy all her inventory so I can talk to her? Yeah, I have 9 sisters I had to buy flowers for. All their birthdays are today. They share the same birthday. Also, tell me, give me your phone number. Anyways, all different kinds of people, man, selling shit here. Chickens, dude. I saw chickens in a coop, and not like a car. Not a 2-door. In a coop, and the one he must have been the alpha. Because the other, it was a big cage too. It was probably about the size of like a small Buick from the 80s. And dude, the one chicken, man, he was a G, dude. He fucking went around and he just showed who the fuck was in charge in that coop. Okay, we might be owned by humans right now, but I own this goddamn coop. Bow down to the chicken, the chick daddy. Bunnies and gerbils. I think it's a plumbing company near where I live. But yeah, dude, people selling livestock and t-shirts from the 1990s and produce. There was this very attractive lady telling people that she just picked the produce that morning, which would be this morning. And I almost bought a trumpet too. It was a really nice guy, older gentleman. And I looked and I when I saw the trumpet, it was in its case, and it took me immediately back to 4th grade, many, many years ago. And I don't know if I told this story on here yet, but I tried out for percussion in the school band, and in our school district, our elementary goes from kindergarten to 3rd grade, and then 4th grade to 8th is our middle school. So once you went into the middle school, you could do band. So I was like, cool, because I had just gotten into music. I'm like, let me try this. And I wanted to play drums, or percussion they call it. And I tried out. I did pretty good, but then they gave it to a kid with a disability. And I was like, oh, I was like 10, maybe 10, 11. And even at that age, I knew, like, oh, this is all pre-planned here. Like, this is all not fair. Because I'm pretty sure if I ran into that kid now, I would bury him at a drum off. Like, I would make him leave immediately before he even got to do his part. I would bury him. But they gave it to him, because if they didn't, then the school might have had a lawsuit on their hands, discriminating. But it was whatever. So the second choice, they gave you a second choice, so I chose trumpet, the trumpet. So I did not take that thing seriously, man. It was hard to play. Your lips stung. Constant fucking maintenance on the goddamn thing. More maintenance on a trumpet than there is on a, Boeing fucking 57 or whatever those planes are called. And I went to no practices, and I did like 2 concerts, but there were so many kids who did go to practice and who were actually playing, I just pretended to play. So, but it immediately brought me back to that point. I was like, well, you know what? I'm always trying to expand my musical abilities. I've been playing guitar since 2007, drums since '08. Picked up a bass around 10 years ago. Piano, by the way, I'm not classically trained in anything. Like, I took guitar lessons in like 2008 for like a year, and my parents pulled me out because they thought that I would be better off learning on my own, and I was, and I excelled at it. So guitar and all that, piano, I like to play around, and I just bought a violin last year, and I really need to commit to it because I love the violin, but it's so hard. Out of all the instruments I've learned over many, many years, the violin is hard, dude. It is hard. No frets, no nothing, dude. You don't even know where you're going. So I was like, and he was gonna sell it to me for $150. And I was really thinking about it because I don't know a lot about brass instruments, but I mean, that's a good price for a trumpet. And it was in good shape, had a case, all that, had the, fluid you spit down in there, clean it out. But I passed on it. I don't want to get in too deep with instruments here. I got a violin that I want to move this. I got a violin that I want to get good at, so. But yeah, man, whole bunch of stuff. Flea market's a good day. And you know what I noticed too? I noticed I was like happier when I left, because I don't think I've been around that many people since like all this COVID. Do you know what I mean? Like, it felt good to be around people, even if they weren't like me, even if they didn't have the same views as me, or didn't dress the same as me, or didn't have the same car as me. You can go down the list all day. These were just people, all kinds of people, parents with their kids, couples and granddads, and it was just good to be around fellow man. It was just good to be around, fellow man. But yeah, man, it felt good, be around people again. So that's the flea market. Damn. Do you guys have any like weird flea market stories? Because, dude, some of these flea markets out there, you gotta be wondering if like there's like child trafficking going on in the back. Because if there's because I heard Whitney Cummings, she's a female comedian, I heard her say, usually where there's animal trafficking, there's most likely human trafficking. Where there's chickens being thrown in, sussy vans and being driven to all these different weird cities and all that shit. Usually there's a separate van with, 11-year-old boys in it. But I totally forgot where I was taking that. Wow, I'm fried. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, man, So Whitney Cummings said that wherever there is animal trafficking, there's a high % chance that there is human trafficking. And human trafficking, for those of you who don't know, is humans being thrown in a motorized vehicle that is usually locked, and they are sold. And it's a real issue, real problem. And I'm sorry, I totally forgot what my point was before that. So the flea markets. Oh yeah, sussy flea markets. So yeah, dude, there's usually weird shit going on in the back. Some 70-year-old man smoking his second cigarette. The day, and he's got a yellow beard, and he's got a Mack truck hat. Jeans from 1989. Selling vinyls that nobody knows about. Dude, you're selling vinyls and you've got a used mattress next to him. Like, what is your market? Dude, some of the things these people try selling, it's like, are you blind? Do you see that mattress has piss and shit stains on it? It's got a hole in the middle. The springs look like the springs look like the shocks from like a Model T. And you're selling it for $40? $40 for this mattress that looks like goddamn Genghis Khan. So let's go into the articles. I barely have any, but there was one on Joe Rogan on trying to cancel Joe Rogan, which, by the way, not gonna happen. He's too big. He's bigger than you, he's bigger than me, he's bigger than CNN. He's bigger than any news network out there. People go to Joe Rogan because they're sick and tired of Fox News, CNN. They're sick and tired of bias. They're sick and tired of the panic, because all these news outlets are into is making you panic. Panic gets the clicks. Panic sells the ads. Panic makes them money. Panic. I was just on Fox News. They literally have tabs that you click on to get yourself scared. There's a tab that says terror on it. There's a tab that says death on it. There's a tab that says terrorism on it. Fuck, dude. Like, all these tabs, dude. I saw a Peppy the Frog tab once. Crazy shit. But yeah, people are going to Joe Rogan because he has so many people on. He's got doctors and scientists and musicians and actors and comedians. I mean, he is really... He is so in the middle about everything. And that's what I love about him. And that's what literally everybody loves about him. And that's why they go to him instead of Tucker Carlson or Megyn Kelly or Rachel Maddow. Fucking clowns, all of them. Overpaid clowns. So this is the article from InfoWars. Cancel Joe Rogan again. Oh, by the way, InfoWars ran by Alex Jones. Joe Rogan and Alex Jones are buddies. They don't agree literally on anything, but they're good buddies. So, cancel Joe Rogan again. Twitter mob angry at podcast host after he blames jabs for virus mutations and blasts mandatory vaccination. So let's read it. Angry Twitter. I'm gonna shift over here. Angry Twitter users called for Joe Rogan to be canceled, and Spotify held accountable for giving him a platform after he claimed vaccines may cause virus mutations and labeled mandatory jabs a step towards dictatorship. It's true. Rogan's controversial statements have caused online frenzy on multiple occasions since he moved his super popular podcast from YouTube to Spotify in a $100 million plus exclusive deal last year to avoid censorship. Awesome. The show instantly became one of the most viewed on the platform, with Spotify saying it was performing above expectations. Back in April, the stand-up comedian and UFC commentator was trending on social media after suggesting young and healthy people didn't need to get vaccinated against coronavirus, and warning that giving into cancel culture could eventually lead to a situation in which straight white men aren't allowed to talk. He addressed the issue of vaccination once again in the latest episode of the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, saying that by trying to inoculate as many people as possible, the U.S. government might actually be making the virus stronger and more dangerous. So, it just goes on and on. Guess what? You're not going to cancel Joe. He's too big. Bigger than you, bigger than me, bigger than CNN, bigger than Rachel Maddow's ass. It's too big. Shut the fuck up. And then I did see something else on here, because this technically is a music and entertainment based podcast. Oh, this is what I saw. So Rihanna is in the billionaire club, and the picture here of her is kind of unflattering, which is disappointing because she's always been hot as fuck. But she looks, if this is a real photo, not photoshopped, and if this is recent, she's kind of, looks like she's gotten a little heavier. And her face looks like, I'm going to say gross, but I don't know. That's a very unflattering picture of her, especially for such a big, a big thing like that. I mean, she's a billionaire. It says here that she's in the billionaire club. So, yeah, man. It's today, Sunday. Dude, remember Sundays when you were in high school, or when you were in any school, middle or elementary? Remember Sundays? Last day of freedom. But it doesn't change much either, because once you go to school and you get out and then you got a job, it's the same thing. Sunday morning's fine, because in your mind you go, I got all day. I got all day, B. But dude, once the sun starts to go down, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, you're like, oh, why did I fucking even open my eyes when I was born? Why couldn't I have just rolled off the table? Where are we at? Almost 30 minutes. Yep, almost 30 minutes. Cool. Why couldn't I just rolled off the table when I was born, just hit the ground and been over with? Dude, Sundays, man. Weird day. Day of rest, they call it. That's why I take off Sundays. I need to, man. Work too hard during the week. I do too much shit. Too much shit. Saturdays too. I don't even have a Saturday. I work. Like, by the time I'm done working on a Saturday, it's not even Saturday anymore, basically. Because Saturday, man, the prime time of Saturday is Saturday morning. Saturday afternoon. The evening, I don't know. What do you see on a Saturday evening? You see a bunch of busybodies and, luxury cars going to Taco Bell. Taco Bell's good, man, but it makes me shit in like 2 seconds. So does McDonald's. And there was a lady when I was a child, probably of 10 years of age. Actually, no, maybe a little less. 8, 9, 10, whatever. There's this lady who worked at McDonald's. She was older. At the time, she was probably in her early 60s. She had gray hair. She didn't look terribly old, like, 90 years old, but Wasn't a young lady anymore. And the job that they had her doing at this location, she was kind of collecting trays, spraying off trays, sweeping the floor, lowest job on the totem pole there. And she was a friendly lady, but when you would like put the trays back up on the counter, she would look at you and she'd say thank you, and then not under her breath, but like she'd say thank you, and then she'd say thank you, like that. She'd like repeat it maybe half a dozen times. And as a child, that's confusing to you, because as a child, you don't know about mental illness. You don't know about, you don't know that some people have it rough and some people are born with a disability. And I don't know what that lady's disability is called. But here, let me play this out for you. So if I was 8 years old, right, and I finish my Happy Meal at McDonald's, and little Evan gets up with his little, white Nikes on and his Old Navy t-shirt. He hops out of the booth. He walks up to the counter, puts his tray up on the counter. He's got to stand on his tippy toes. I still have to stand on my tippy toes. And he puts it down, and this lady looks at me and she says, "Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you." And as a child, dude, it confuses you. Looking back now, I feel sorry for her, and I hope she's still alive and, doing well. But as a child, man, that's confusing to you. Because like I said, you don't know what mental illness is. If you ask a 7-year-old kid, a 7-year-old boy or girl, 6, 5, even, a 10-year-old kid, like, they're just not aware. They don't know any better than what that is. If something's weird to them, it's weird. But as an adult, if something's weird, you can use your better judgment to probably come to the conclusion that this person might be struggling with a mental illness. And then, you react accordingly. But I would just stare at this woman in awe, because, to my 8-year-old mind, I just thought she was really grateful for the tray. Like, if I'm really grateful, I'll repeat something. Like, one time I had a teacher, no name, of course. He knew I was struggling in this class because I just didn't get the material. And I went up to him after class and I was like, "Hey, I really am having trouble getting this." And he reached in his desk and he grabbed a paper and he slid it to me over the desk, looked around, and he said, "Study these notes and you will pass the test." And they made this hard subject. It made this hard subject so much easier to understand because he had like these basic, they just bare bones, like how to do this shit. And I did pass it. So I was really grateful, and I must have said thank you like the lady at McDonald's, Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. As I walk out the door, it fades. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Fades out. But yeah, man, even McDonald's, man. In my area, at least, it's hit or miss, especially in my area. You got people with money, you got, people living in poverty. Dude, I knew a guy who lived out of a Oldsmobile wagon one time. And this thing was huge. Those wagons, those old station wagons were in the 80s. Buick and Oldsmobile made them too. I think, I don't know if Chevy made them. I think Ford made a couple of them. Could be wrong, though. Dude, this guy had this fucking wagon tricked out, boy. Dude, he had a damn sauna in this thing, I swear. And you know what it was? He just closed all the doors, closed all the windows, and laid in the back in the middle of the summer. That was his sauna. And I think, because he's dead now, and I think he died in that car. Because he had a sister and another sister who lived in the area, and they had homes and stuff, and they offered him a place to stay, but he loved his Buick or his Oldsmobile, same thing, same company. He loved this this wagon so much that he turned down the opportunity to live in a structure, to live in this wagon. People love it, man. Like, I go on YouTube and people will literally buy a van and go out of their way to live like it's 1100, you know? Just live with nothing. I couldn't do it. I like to know where I'm going to shower at the end of the night. I like to know there's one place I go to and one place only, and that's my bathroom. These people are going in Starbucks and locking themselves in the bathroom and, you know, washing their hair with goddamn fucking car wash soap. I don't know. I mean, power to them, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. We're too far into society to be living like that. That's my problem with, like, these off the grid, like, campers. Like, they'll go out and, like, in, like, British Columbia for, like, 2 weeks and just stay in a tent and freeze their asses off. And it's like, why, dude? We have structures. We have electricity. We have running water. We have Wi-Fi. We have cars. Why would you want to go back in time and regress to suffering like that? But it's all the person, I guess. I never did it. I went camping one time. Last time I ever went. I remember we laid on the ground in the tent, and for like 6 hours, there was like a rock underneath my tent, just in my rib cage. And then I was a little kid then, and we were all still awake. Like, we were like laying down for hours. And it must have been like 2 a.m. I think we were in New Jersey somewhere, out by Cape May. Maybe. I don't even know. I think I just made that up. But we were out somewhere, not too far away from home. And at like 2 o'clock in the morning, get up, we're going home. This sucks. And it did. I laid on a rock for about, half a dozen, hours. But, yeah, dude, camping. Camping is hit or miss. If you got a nice camper and you're pulling it with a nice big old truck with the Punisher skull with the blue strip through the middle, you're pulling this camper, that's like your fucking payments, like a mortgage on a house, because it is a house. And you go and you pull that daddy up that fucking trail spot there, and you set that bad boy down, and you turn that air conditioner on, you're watching TV. Is it really camping? Or did you take your separate home on wheels, park it somewhere, and you're living like you lived 9 hours ago? Watching the fucking Price is Right and the air condition, mom's doing all the fucking book work and on the desk. There's always a desk like built into the wall on those things. Dad's out front cooking steaks and shit. Is it camping at that point? Camping. Never got it, and I probably never will go again. Gone to hotels though. I've gone to some weird ass hotels. Okay, so get this. I got a story for you guys. So last night, just like for a one-off night, I don't work there anymore. Like, I'm not committed there anymore. But I was working at this place I used to work when I was, I started there when I was like a teenager and worked there up until like 3 years ago. And 2 years ago I quit. And so I was just delivering last night from like 5 to 8 just to help my old boss out and wanted a favor. So I was like, yeah, I'll help you out. So I went on this delivery, and it took me to this place and in Bangor. I shouldn't have said Bangor. East Bangor, though. I already said it. East Bangor. And it was a really fucking weird apartment building, but it had the number on the thing, and it said the GPS brought me to East Bangor. So I went and I knock again, and these 3 like Hispanic gentlemen start yelling at me from like the top window saying, is that the food? Is that the food? And I'm like, yeah. And the one guy said, just leave it there. And I'm like, yeah, I still got to get the money though. And he said, okay, we'll be right out. Instantly, I had a weird feeling. I had a really just primal instinct feeling like something's weird here. So I didn't want to wait outside the door anymore, so I went and got my car and waited. And I had the car in park the whole time. Try calling the number. It was a number to like a business, because it said, this call is being recorded for quality assurance. Would you like to try out, like all this weird like pre-recorded shit. And I'm like, oh, I am gone. Because at that time I was waiting for them for like 15 minutes. So I took the food back, told somebody in charge there what happened. They were like, oh, okay, these people are always giving us problems anyways. And they called back. Here, they're like on literally the other side of town, in Bangor, not even in East Bangor, over the fucking viaduct bridge. And yeah, so like when I finally got these people their food, they were waiting for like 2 hours. And there was like a lot of confusion, like no phone number, nobody gave us the right address. So it wasn't my fault. But I finally got them their food and whatever. These people were really dirty. The guy appeared to be high on like meth or something in this dingy apartment on the 3rd floor. And I left and I was like, whose fucking house was I at earlier? If those were the people that ordered the food that I just came from, whose fucking house was I at earlier? And they asked me, is that the food? And so that to me immediately is like, yeah, like they know who I am. They ordered the food. But I was like, dude, these people might have like saw that I had the wrong place. And I just had a bad feeling. And I know I didn't probably explain that too well, but the gist of the story is I was at the wrong house in a wrong even neighborhood. And this isn't a bad neighborhood either, but I was just in the wrong neighborhood of where the original guy was, and they were ready to come out. And I was glad that I waited in my car, because I waited for 15 minutes. Nobody came out, got a bad feeling, left. So yeah, it was kind of a weird story, but yeah, I don't miss that. I don't miss that kind of shit at all. Where are we at? Because I got other shit to do today. Oh, we're close to 45 minutes. I think I'll wrap it up there. So I read one article for you. All the rest, I just sat here, like lounged back in my fucking office chair in the air conditioning and just talk shit, which is a good one. So, yeah, I guess from now on for a little while, it'll just be me. No more Matt, because Matt is in California. So, Matt, hope you enjoyed the episode. Guys, hope you enjoyed it. And don't forget, to like and subscribe, share the video, whatever. Hope you like it. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Yeah, yeah, yeah.